people. It's Mr. Dore back again with the special podcast. As you know, and if you're aware, it ended Liverpool 0, Nottingham Forest 1. I'll repeat it again, people. Liverpool 0, Nottingham Forest 1. If you've been under a rock, if any Forest fans don't know what the score was, we won. Not at the City Ground, at Anfield. I'm buzzing. I'm excited. And it's the best 30 quid I've ever spent in my effing life. If you enjoy this, if you're going to enjoy this podcast, please hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and get involved. Because everyone in this panel, I think in the chat, are happy. Why does everyone look suppressed? Why am I the one who looks happy? Look, wait, come on. Why is people in the chat, these three look grumpy? We thought we could just beat Liverpool. Come on, that's it, Claire. That's better.
My face is aching from smiling all day, Dore. Give us a break.
Yeah.
Get on with it.
It's lovely stuff. Right, people, we beat Liverpool 3-1-0. Let's get the panel in. First of all, we've got the Welsh wizard, Steve. How you feeling, Steve?
Look what it says on the screen. To the famous team. Yeah. Buzzing, Ben. Buzzing.
Oh, I'm loving
Feels like the best, right? It feels. I don't take drugs, but it feels like I've taken a drug because I'm so like, yeah, feels brilliant.
Next up, we've got the. Let me start with Glenn. How you doing, Glenn?
I don't think after a win for a long time, and I'm talking 20 years, I've felt quite so positive, euphoric. You can probably tell from my voice I wasn't at the game, but I was just shouting at the radio and just loved the result. Everything about how we played, and we'll break it down in the next hour. I am doing brilliantly. Thank you, Ben. How are you?
I feel great. I've got my glasses on. I've got my Fanta ready. I feel great. Last but not least, I saw another guy who was happy. I kept shouting, Des! The deaf bat, just saying with the biggest smirk on his face. How are you feeling, Des?
Loving it. You know, wow, what a day. I've not come down. I've not stopped drinking, to be honest. I'm not that drunk right now.
It's not drunk, people.
I'm making no apologies for that because I've waited for this one. You know, a few years ago we had Wembley, but you know, and no disrespect to anybody who's not followed it since, but 36 years it's been drilled into me how important this is and what it means. You know, Stephen Gerrard once said it's drilled into him to hate the Manx. You know, it's been drilled into me that this one's important, and that was something else yesterday. Absolutely off the scale. You know, I completed it. Liverpool, we completed it, mate.
We completed it. We've all completed it. We've witnessed Forest beat Liverpool. All day I've been doing it, but that's a different show. Let me get before chat 4. I get everyone's opinion about yesterday's game. There's a lot to talk about. Our show. Legend Chris, good evening, new from New Jersey panel. Personal job well done yesterday. We have lost the game 3-2 last season. This is legit. Up the red. It is bloody legit, Chris, because we won at last. Another legend, Razdaz, even all, what a win, what a goal. Come on, you Reds. But she said, lovely stuff. Still enjoying the fallout of international break. 58 Fs. Yes. I'm going to cross the line. All I heard from Liverpool podcast is Fatigué and this and that over. Forest had exactly the same. We had exactly the same. And do you see his whinging about it? No. Number one, Davey. Hi, Ben. Hi, Steve. Hi, Glenn. And yes, hi, Super Des. I've had enough of this guy already. Why? Come on, David, man. Come on, man. Why? We just won. Why can't call us all super? Come on, man, David. Call it all super for a change. It is what it is. But much love to you, Davey. Another legend. Good evening, Mr. Dore, Stephen Glenn. I hope you're all right. I can't believe my heart predicted. Yeah. Eve was right. She was so right, Eve was. She predicted 1-0 on my show on Thursday. Eve, well done. I'm starting to draw in tomorrow on Mr. Nigel Marinakis. Please do. And before I do, Matilda's Marinakis, what a legend. If no one follows me on Instagram, I catch the goal and he's shared it on his page as well. So if you want to see the goal, please do. I can't believe it. Shout out to Jamie. Jamie messaged me and said he's shared my goal. I want to say it. So shout out to Matilda Marinakis for that as well. KT, how you doing, KT? Everyone, I hope you're well, KT. And another one, Paddy. Even Dore, Steve, Glenn, and Des, what a day. I haven't felt this positive about this for 30 years of supporting Nottingham Forest. Me either. Everyone's on cuckoo land for me. Does it top Wembley? For me, it does, because how much I despise Liverpool, but this tops it. Right, let's start with it. Let me start with you, Des. It's like I said, you have spoken for long about it. How are you feeling?
Off the scale, Dore. Off the scale. Do you know, Wembley was a special day which we'd all been waiting for, and I got really, really emotional myself, through whatever has happened in my life and the way it corresponds with time and this, that, and the other. But yesterday, it was just what we was waiting for. Whatever, seasons come, seasons go. Things happen, you get beat, you accept it, you go away, you lick your wounds and you come again. But the one thing we needed to do as Forest fans was get that win at Anfield. And for me, yes, I'm getting on. Is that a thing?
He's old as hell.
I'm getting older as we speak, but I don't think I'm that old, and there's people who've waited longer than me, but for so long it's just been ingrained in me to that the things that have happened, and I've not long put a tweet out saying that, it's not the big things, it's not the obvious, it's the little things that have gone on in the process, that have upset us and they've irked us, John Aldridge rubbing Brian Lawes' head and all those little things that I made reference to on my own social media, and just to go there, right, and not just win, we outfought them, we outplayed them, we outclassed them. Nuno, I've been a bit dubious about Nuno. Absolute masterclass of a tactical performance from Nuno. Nuno was man of the match. I'll tell you now before you ask me at the end.
Yeah, we all agree.
Nuno was absolutely off the scale with the way he approached that game. And I've not always been the most confident with him. I've not always been right behind what he's been doing. But in that type of fixture, if he can sort of follow that up and put in another one or two of those, we've got a real manager here. And I think, I thought at the time I was being very realistic in saying we'd finish 17th and we'd struggle and we'd have games. We still will. Let's not be silly about it. We've got a big result.
Just enjoy it. Talk about this game. Forget about the.
But this is what I'm saying. Enjoy this game and realise that when we put it together, we've got a cracking team. An absolutely cracking team. And I've been saying this as well. Cut the mistakes, and there were one or two in the first half, which could have led to a different result. Cut those mistakes, which fortunately fell for us, and we've got that kind of performance and result in us. And what a day, seriously, being in that away, and no disrespect to anyone that won there. That is something that's going to deliver you more than Wembley to some degree, more than Crystal Palace away, and they were big days. Don't get me wrong, they were big days. But anyone who supported Forest for 20, 25, 30 years plus is never, ever going to forget that, because we've had to endure some rubbish in the process. And that was the icing on the cake, and thinking, yes, time to push on. Come on, Forest, let's go.
What you have said. Before I get Glenn, there's some comments, and there is some funny comments today as well. This is from Mark. Merseyside police are looking for Alex and McAllister, last seen at Anfield in Ryan Yates' pocket. Oh, love it, Mark. Shout out to Mark for that. There's Michael from South Florida here. Wonderful win. Come on, you Reds. Come on, you Reds. Why, Alan? Why are you here? This is a Forest podcast. We won Liverpool. Don't come on. Shout out to Alan. Evening, gents. Up the Forest. Looking forward to the 3 points in 2 weeks. Alan, I'm still waiting for my shirt, mate. I'm looking forward to my shirt, mate. But hope you're all, my friend, and as well, Freddie, his son as well. Shout out to them too. Watch out for listen to their podcast as well. Kieran, hands down the best we played since we got back in the Premier League. We went there for a win and got home shit right. Did 100% as well. Glenn, how are you feeling? I know it's been ages as well, but what's your thoughts on it?
I called my dad this morning. Fortunately, he was out, but so I couldn't speak to him. I believe he was there in 15th of February 1969. He was 19.
Wow.
And I wanted to have a chat with him about it, but no doubt next time I call, I'll speak to him about it. I just was partly on my 10-mile run this morning. I was listening to no end of podcasts about it, and there's so many. You're right. There's so many positives. There's a couple of errors, and we'll talk about them. Just so many positives from the way the back four set up. Arguably, Bolly's absence perhaps changed from a 5 to a 4. We don't know whether that would have been the first, like, plan A or not, whether plan B was a 4 rather than a 3 in the wing backs. The wing backs were exceptional. Limited their chances to 1 from 5 in a regular game in the last 3 games. Everyone did their job spectacularly well. Everyone's 1-to-1, 1v1s were incredible. Like Yates was saying, Yates and McAllister, Aina and Diaz, Milenkovic and Sobroska, just from all the way through the pitch. We just limited them to frustrated situations where, you know, the manager, even at the end, wasn't he, was saying that Slot was saying that just how disjointed and broken up the game was, because we didn't go there going, oh yeah, you're Liverpool and we're just lowly Forest and we're going to give you all the ball and at least concede a goal in each half, and we might do our best to try and scratch one. And we didn't lie down. Just the way the midfield unit played and the way they worked with the back four, just all the way through, from the substitutions, when they were made, who was made at the right time. The time of the goal in 72 minutes was key as well. I think it gave them very little opportunity at the time where they were frustrated into making decisions and substitutions where they had very little else. And at no point during the final 20 minutes, although I left home and had a walk around the block, did I feel we were going to lose the game. It was just absolute tactical masterclass from the coaching staff, Nuno, and the way the players played. Phenomenal. I know we've seen some questions and comments in the comments about Sangare and other players that weren't involved and whether the result may have been different about that. I've got opinions about that, but perhaps we'll talk about that later on. But all the way through, phenomenal result. And we always said last year, didn't we? Particularly Cooper said a couple of seasons ago, to go to these sorts of places and get any result at all, we need to be at the top of our game. We need to be 9s and 10s. And we absolutely were. You Reds.
100%. Before we go, obviously, Dawn, Des, is this true? Was Dawn right? I predicted a 1-0 Super 6. Is she right, Des? Dawn, I need receipts, Dawn. I need receipts, Dawn.
Yeah,
I can't.
They don't give out trophies in September though, so let's not Dawn get singing before she's won anything. So
Dawn, I need receipts. So you can post on Facebook. I need receipts. Tag me on it. I don't believe you till I see it. I predicted 3-0. I was nearly close to, and that's why I'm top of the league and I'm in the league stage. So Stephen knows I'm top of the league and mine. Stephen, ask you a question. When you saw the lineup, how was you feeling?
Well, fine enough. My comment, Glenn had put the starting lineup up, and then my comment was we're playing with no width, which I thought that's interesting. But then going by the way they midfield, and this is why he tied in with Dez's comment about the masterclass, is he just went for the midfield battle. And that's why he sacrificed Delanger and Hudson-Odoi. But the game plan was there to be seen. It was like a written story. Game plan was see it through, I was surprised he took Dominguez off so early, mine. He went off for 53 minutes. I thought perhaps he's tactical or maybe picked up a knock, I'm not sure. But yeah, the lineups kind of surprised me. He didn't go with much wit. But then thinking about it, I had a good think about it. All right, he's really going for this midfield battle here because the way they set up against Man United is overrun United's midfield last week. And that's what did worry me during the week. But then our midfield, I'm sure we'll come to individual performances later on, but our midfield was outstanding. But can I just say as well, as being a fan now going almost 30 years, there's been a lot of matches which I've had a buzz out of, but don't think it's really sunk in yet until I go to work tomorrow and I start rubbing in the Scousers, in work with me, their faces. But I think that's got to be up there with Wembley. It's got to be. Because I know we've beaten them since we come back, but that's at the City Ground. I think the only closest performance this comes to is, which was under Steve Cooper, when we beat Chelsea was it last year? The 1-0, we won there last year?
Yeah.
So last year.
But I think yesterday was just another level above that, because at that time Chelsea was transitioning, they signed about 100 players and blah, blah, blah. But still, it was still Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. But that yesterday was just another level for me. The way we had fought them, the way they had no idea how to break us down. Like watching on TV, it was just literally like, yeah, you could be negative and you can park a bus and all that stuff. No, you have to put the work in. They are going to have more of the ball than us. At the end of the day, they are Liverpool and they have got good players. But man for man, we just matched them. We outfought them. We won the second balls. We ran out. And I liked Alan Shearer's analysis on the match of the day last night. I'm sure we'll get to Danny Murphy's comment about fatigue and all that crap. But Shearer said these Premiership teams now get back so quick. And you watch us, when we lost the ball, we got back in our shape so quick. I'm watching it live on TV. It's just the unbelievable discipline that he must have drilled them all week. That is, to keep that for 90 minutes at Anfield. And there's been big teams gone there, like City, European nights, Barcelona have gone there and got thumped over the years. And we've gone there to maintain that for 90 minutes. And isn't that the first defeat in 25 games at Anfield? Yeah. I think that's the first loss for Van Dijk when he started a game at Anfield for forever long. That can't. This is not. 20%. I've seen one comment, a smash and grab. That was not a smash and grab. That Nuno outfought. I agree with Des. Nuno, that was absolute a masterclass.
Chris Sutton's comments, wasn't it? Chris Sutton's comments about smash and grab. Definitely.
Oh, well, definitely. If Pep had gone there and done that, we wouldn't hear the last of it.
I don't know if the panel knows, and people in the chat as well. 3 years ago, I want to ask questions to not for the panel, for the people in the chat. Who did we play 3 years ago today? I want to see if the chat knows. Do you lot know? Don't say, do you lot know?
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Do you know, Des?
This is why, Ben, if you said to me 3 years ago we'd be beating Liverpool Anfield, I'd have just
in the chat. 3 years ago, who did we play? Let's put the chat. First one, quick one. Des, let's talk about the goalkeeper Selks first. When he did that, he always messed up, didn't he? My heart was in my bloody mouth. How was you feeling about that one?
It was one of those, wasn't it? And honestly, though, I don't want to drag this away from your questions. You're the host here, but I just want to. I said to you, get me on tonight because I want to talk about them tactics. Honestly, I really want to talk about them tactics.
Talk about it. Talk about tactics.
He played, just expanding on what Steve said. He played them inverted wingers, I called them yesterday. The fact that Anderson and Dominguez are not natural wingers. And when I saw the lineup, rather than say, "Oh, that's negative," and get a bit of a thing about me that, "Oh, it's the same as Cooper," like I might have done in the past, I just thought, let's wait and see. Let's wait and see what it's all about. I don't know why. I just was a bit more relaxed about what he was doing at Anfield. But again, I can't help but think, what a masterclass. He's put them on there because Liverpool, we've been there in the last couple of years, and we've managed to get at Liverpool's defence, at their midfield, down the middle of the pitch. We've managed to get amongst them. Do you know, Tyro has got right amongst them. We've had them long throw-ins coming in. Joe Worrell in the box, you know, winning headers. And we managed to pick up some scraps. And 2 years ago, especially, score 2 goals. But what happened yesterday? Those wingers set everything. Honestly, it was the be all and end all. Don't get me wrong. There were some fantastic performances around the pitch. Do you know, you had Anderson and Dominguez, who basically stifled their wingers. Do you know, not their fullbacks, their wingers. So their strength is Salah and Diaz getting down that line, cutting in. By them being naturally defensive, it gave Marino and Aina a little bit of an easier game. But don't let that take anything away from anything, because they still had to think about Robertson and Trent coming down on the overlap. They were fantastic. Do you know, the fullbacks was absolutely brilliant. But I think those 2 players in front of them just stopped everything they could do, because they sat that little bit deeper. It took Salah and Diaz a little bit more time to get on top of their game. The fullbacks weren't overlapping because of what they weren't in their full stride. Do you know? And it gave Forest a real basis. In the middle of the pitch, what you had was James Ward-Prowse sitting, and Ryan Yates just went out and kicked the fuck out of him. Let's be honest. Do you know? So what? So what? That was his job. That was his job yesterday. McAllister was on his backside for the first 30 minutes because that's what Ryan Yates' job was.
Liverpool fans on social media just destroyed him. I sent it to Ryan Yates and he laughed at it.
Yeah, but what 1 or 2 of their fans I spoke to on the train were just kind of laughing. I said that's his job. You know, that was his job. But what it allowed, and this is sometimes, you know, I get criticised for the things I say on Twitter
all the time.
On a football pitch, people play in partnerships. So you had the winger playing with a fullback on both sides. You had the 2 centre backs compact. And what you had in that midfield yesterday, you know, I'm not going to go on about what's gone before because everyone knows what I think about that. But what you had is Ward-Prowse sitting, waiting, and Yates going out there bashing people, doing this, you know, putting them on the backside. And when Ward-Prowse got the ball, didn't have to think about it. Ping, 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 ping. Do you know, Gibbs White was like 10 yards further up the pitch. How long have I been shouting for that? We're at Anfield. Why is he 10 yards further up the pitch? Because we've got a player who's going to find him with a pass. We played 4-4-2, 4-4-1-1 to some degree because of the way Gibbs White played off Ward. But it was almost like a 4-4-2, and it was conventional. But what was really intriguing to me is we haven't won this since '69. I don't know how much you know about old football and back in the day. They didn't used to play with wingers at all. They used to play with what was called an inside right and an inside left. And that's what Dominguez and Anderson were. There was an inside right and inside left just tucked in there, which meant Yates and Ward-Prowse could play as a compact unit in front of the back 4. Whilst Milenkovic and Murillo played well, they didn't have anything to do. What they did do was brilliant. You know, what they did do was absolutely fantastic, but they didn't have anything to do really. And I said at half-time, I didn't say it because I was sat on my own. Ian, my mate, was down a few rows in front. I'm the most pragmatic and realistic about Forest. If I think we'll get beat, I'll tell you we'll get beat. Right? You know that. You know, I'll take some stick for it.
Was I the only one? Well, I was the only one that said Forest will win. Yes.
Yeah,
so
you might not before the game, but at half-time, Dore, I thought we're not getting beat here. We are not getting beat. I thought it'd be 0-0 in all realism. I didn't think we'd score, but we were not getting beat because Liverpool offered nothing. And going back to what you mentioned about the chance, you know, they had 2 chances, didn't they? Yates should have shepherded that one out of play or kicked it into the stand, and Diaz nicked it off him, and those things happen. I'm not saying it's good, but those things happen. The keeper moment was horrible because because of how that stayed out. It's almost like he turned his
back
arm
leg, wasn't it?
around.
It was back leg, wasn't it? Back leg. Bloody hell.
It was, but he turned his
Oh,
arm
it's
around
left-
without looking, and his
right
arm
elbow
stopped
kept
from
it out.
going in.
Was it? Yeah, it was. It was.
But, you know, we rode a luck on those 2 occasions. Other than that, they created nothing. Honestly, I thought at half time, these ain't breaking us down. And when they made 3 substitutions on 60 minutes, they were desperate. You know, Trent
Yeah.
went into midfield. He was trying to play with his left foot. He was playing that diag across the forwards. Milenkovic just went like that every time, and he went in front of him. You know, and he went out for a goal kick. And I thought, you know, honestly, what Nuno did in stifling what is their strength. And it's easy to say it now, and it's easy to think, oh, we've all seen it over the last couple of years, but no one's done it. Man United didn't do it. Man United didn't try and stifle them down the wings. What they tried to do is play their own game and tried to play through the midfield. And the thing is, we kept that midfield quiet because you had Yates going about his business, and you had those two just sitting in there, just in front. And that's what set up the game. And then on 60 minutes, do you know, when everyone's tired, they were knackered. Those 2 players had to come off because they put in so much work. You put on Hudson-Odoi and Elanga, and any team's going to go, for God's sake. You know, for God's sake. Hudson-Odoi has been brilliant. You know, I've really been raving about how mature he's been. Elanga's a little bit more raw, but that ball he put across, you know, and what a finish. You know, that's what we know he can do. Liverpool would have known that.
I've always praised him.
Eh?
I've always praised Callum Hudson-Odoi. I was on the way to go out and I was speaking to 3 people and I said, Hudson-Odoi just needs to play 1 good game, 1 good goal, and he'll start his season. And look what happens.
But he's just become mature, you know, and I think the team is maturing. I look, just sidetracking slightly, I look at Murillo, didn't have a massive amount to do, but all of a sudden, I said to someone earlier, he looks like Des Walker. He's making everything look very easy. That's why Des Walker was the Rolls Royce of a defender he was. Murillo is starting to look like that player. You know, he's got the big guy who's going to kick things, head things next to him. We know Murillo's a bit suspect. But all of a sudden, these players are maturing. And I think Callum Hudson-Odoi, you know, getting that ball, tucking it in the bottom corner. Elanga had a couple, you know, he had a couple of chances where it could have made a difference. And I think what was really telling as well at the end, just my last point on the tactics, and I said it a couple of weeks ago to Glenn, I think, you know, I'm the biggest Morgan Gibbs White fan in the world. You know, I have been from day one.
I didn't know that.
But
Glenn.
what I actually love is there's someone there that can replace him. You know, Jota, come on, wins a header against Virgil van Dijk.
Oh, I couldn't believe that. I was like, what? What's this guy on?
But I'm going to tell you something now, and one of these other Forest podcasts might love this. You know, we know which one we're talking about. Do you know Jota? The players was amazed how many headers he won against Newcastle. I've heard this from within. I'm not saying I know everything, but I've heard this. They was amazed how many headers he won within. Jota stepped onto the training ground and went, check your stats, lads. He said, I'm in the top 3 in Europe for winning headers in attacking positions. And he is. He's in the top 3 in Europe for winning headers. And you saw yesterday again, he won every header against Newcastle, and they've got some big guys at the back. Jota won a header against Van Dijk.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, what? I was like, what's wrong with this guy? I couldn't believe it.
You want to flick on? You want loads of flick on?
So there you go. You've got somebody to come on and give Morgan Gibbs White that little bit of respite. Do you know, we work that guy into the ground because we have to. We have to. It's as simple as that. But when you've got someone coming on, I said it to Glenn a couple of weeks ago, didn't I? You know, it's brilliant to see somebody there just to give him that little bit of respite and at times maybe work with him, maybe play alongside him, you know, in an attacking game. And I just think it's really starting to come together, Dore. It's really coming together. And I have to give all that credit to Nuno yesterday. Honestly, not been his biggest fan. Love Cooper. Guys ringing up 606 when I was on the way home saying, Cooper this, Cooper that. Forget about that now. Forget about that. I love the guy, but forget about Cooper. That's a season and a half ago. This guy deserves, on yesterday especially, to have his own credit and to really be thinking about taking this team somewhere. It's not going to be a straight ride, but it's definitely going in the right direction.
100%. I'm just going through the chat before I get Glenn in. This is what from Clark. Great win, but can we hear Liverpool were at 100%, 3 points taken, but we can't get carried away. No, sorry. We won away. No disrespect to your comment, but we won against a team that was one of the best team players in the world, and we're gonna enjoy this win. Enjoy this win to Brighton, but yes, don't get carried away. We're enjoying this win. I can say thanks to Liverpool fans. No, I'm not swearing in that, but I'm enjoying it.
Sorry, Dore, I know I spoke a lot, but do you know if it was just down to Liverpool not playing well, you'd accept those kind of comments? The fact is that I believe it was our tactics that stopped them playing their way, which won us a football match, and that's the difference yesterday.
100%. Mark says, like Bertels always said, good players don't get better, they get more consistent, and we start to see now 100%, Mark. Kate says, my husband sports Man U, and he can't understand why people aren't shouting about Hudson-Odoi, even a complaint. I thought, listen to me, I love Brendan Johnson. Everyone knows I love Brendan. When we went to Spurs and we brought Hudson-Odoi on a cheap, I was raving. I was on the way to the ground. I spoke to my 3 friends. Hudson-Odoi needs that goal. He needs that goal to kick his season out, and he got it. And I feel people will be watching him now. People will be watching him, and he's going to be a player. I wouldn't be surprised if he could be English squad. I'm saying it now. Click this. He'll be in English squad soon, like Morgan Gibbs-White. You heard it first. Another one. There's low limits to what we can achieve in the squad. 100% done. And there's a quick question for Glenn. Milinkovic and Murillo were solid as a rock. Glenn, respond to that.
They were, and I totally echo what Des was saying about them not having a lot to do. But when they had anything to do, they were right on it. They know exactly what to do. I think it was keen that Murillo. I think the comment from the lad from Ipswich, was it earlier in the week, Dore?
Yes.
Was absolutely spot on. That Murillo is no longer our linchpin. He's not the key player. He's not the guy that we're holding all our hopes on because of the strength of our squad so much now. But when he was playing last season and playing at his best, he was aware of the ball. He was switched on. He was throwing his body in the way. Towards the end of the game, they had a shot and it came off the inside of his left thigh and pinged out for a corner. As soon as he came back on, he was switched on. Yates was pointing, and they were all getting back on again. Milinkovic was the reason why you could argue, going right back to the beginning of the build up towards Callum's goal, was the reason why we won the ball back. Managed to nick the ball off, passed it gently forward to Morgan, didn't he? And from then on, it was 71, 72 minutes, and it was history. So the way they played between the pair of them, and after Callum had scored, and they were making their way back towards the centre, the halfway line. Callum and Morgan were talking, and Milinkovic was coming over. In Morgan's view, you see this? Saying about what's going to happen in the next 22 minutes, 23 minutes. Did not switch off all the way through the game. Absolutely phenomenal performance. And a performance like that is going to go under the radar to a certain extent, isn't it? Because he didn't take he wasn't Aina who, is it Aina, who didn't clear off the goal line. He didn't do anything significantly spectacular, but all of the decisions he makes, and this is a great thing about our consistent comment earlier on, he's becoming a real consistent, first name on the team sheet, always doing the right thing. And yesterday they had nothing, all because of those two working together. They were phenomenal, and aren't we fortunate to have the pair of them working together again? Brilliant.
Another play that
Can I just add? Sorry, Dom. Can I just add? Dawn has got your 3 years ago today question correct. I think she might have got a bit of help, but she did get it correct.
Yeah, she got it from Ian. Shout out to Ian, and she has tagged me on Facebook, and she was right, and she did get it. If people want to see, she got it right. Where is it? She got it right. There it is.
Middlesbrough.
Yeah. So if people see it, Dawn, well done. At least me and Dawn got something in
I mean,
common.
she got the result three years ago, Dore, not necessarily the one over the weekend.
Oh, okay.
That was definitely Google. The other one was luck, Glenn.
Right.
Steve, let's talk about Ward-Prowse. But Des mentioned it. Every time he had the ball, he's class. And talk to me, Steve, man. People are chatting about Ward-Prowse. He's class. What can I say? He's class.
Premiership quality, Ben. He's not like a household name as such. He's not like a superstar name, but for an established Premiership player, what a player! I bet you boys there watch it live, obviously watching a different side of the game than me watch on TV. But the little just 1-2s, little touch offs, calmness. It was an instant in the second half where he's surrounded by 2 or 3 Liverpool players, and he just managed to get through and just play it off. So it made it look so easy, and just no panic. And this is the thing, we've signed players now in this window, and he's just one example, who have got Premiership experience. And I'm going to touch on one player as well, who will be later on probably my man of the match. Murillo left back was absolutely outstanding. And I do take back anything I said. Yeah, and I thought when I went to Villa Park last season, I thought he was a weak link, and I take that back. But anyway, I'll get to him later. But Ward-Prowse, we didn't get much in the way of seeing a lot of his dead balls because we didn't have that many corners or free kicks, really. So they are still yet to come. He did whip in a few. We did have a little foreshadowing of what he can produce because the whip on them free kicks and corners are something else. But yeah, it's just class, Ben. And he just went, like, I think Des touched on earlier about players that go unnoticed. He just went unnoticed. But the little things he did. There's another instant, I think he intercepted the ball and he was stretching for it. And he just managed to get the pass away to a player in space. Just made it look so, just like he's done it before. He's been at that level. He's been there, done it. He's played, he's played at these big grounds, with West Ham and Southampton and so on. It's just, he was class, Ben. And we've signed an established Premiership player, which we've gone down the route of signing foreign players and players we haven't heard of and so on. But this guy is just class. And can I just say one thing? I've been watching the game back, in parts, and obviously the thing on YouTube and so on. Yeah, there's one thing to lead up. One thing that could have happened on the lead up to that goal, which they could have done, which prevented that goal. If you watch it back, I think it was Gapco was chasing Alanga back on the halfway line, and I thought at first it was Trent, but it's Gapco. He pulled out to the challenge. Now he was on the halfway line. He could have taken the term, football term is you take one for the team, and he could have taken Alanga out, and we wouldn't have had that chance. If you go watch that goal back, so thank God, if you watch it, he pulled out like that, because if he had clipped him, he would have had a yellow. But I think under maybe Klopp last year, he would have done it, because thank God, just watching it back, I thought, oh my God, if he had clipped him, Alanga wouldn't have got away, because then obviously Alanga whipped that ball to Hudson-Odoi and set up the goal. So little things went away, and just Milenkovic as well, just out-strengthened Nunes like he was nothing. Brushed him off the ball, which set up the counter-attack. So I knew something was bubbling yesterday with Yates switching off, Diaz hitting the post. There was, Matt Sells, coming back to the Matt Sells thing. This sounds really silly to say this, but if Jota had challenged him, I bet he would have caught that ball. Because he seemed like he had too much time to think about it. But if Jota, who was about 3 yards away from him, got tight to him, which keepers tend to, under pressure, keep hold of the ball, and he tend to win a free kick. That moment, I was like, oh my God. And the third moment, which I thought we switched off, was when Aina, in the second half, just switched off for a split second, and he lost the ball. I think it was Diaz or someone nicked it off him. But again, we had the players just, again, all back in their shape. And coming back to the main question about Ward-Prowse, he was just that, and Des touched it earlier, just sat in there and just mopped up everything. And it just set us going forward, Ben, and just it's good to know that we have that strength and depth as well, which is quite scary. I think them players come off the bench. We've got some strength and depth now. And you touched on Jota Silva to win a header against Van Dijk, and he's only 5'8".
I couldn't believe it.
He out-jumped Van Dijk. The world-known Van Dijk, and little Jota Silva out-jumps him and wins a flick on. You know what I mean? But just to answer your main question, but I'm not ranting now. But Ward-Prowse is he's different gravy, like me and Des had said on different level. I know Des is a big fan of Ward-Prowse. Look at him; I can see he wants to have his say on him. But yeah, he is. Yeah, go on, Des. Des, back it up.
Back it up, Des. Back it up.
Yeah, it was. We're talking about levels, aren't we? His move to West Ham didn't quite work out, but it's almost like after the Lord Mayor's show, isn't it? Declan Rice was the guy he was supposed to replace. This guy's gone on and done 100 million. West Ham fans didn't see Declan Rice and James Ward-Prowse. Surprise, surprise. Because Declan Rice has gone to Arsenal and he's proved to be an £100 million player. And you watched him yesterday. Honestly, the guy is just a proper footballer. And it's easy just to reel out these things as an old romancer and an old sort of old school type fan, but Ward-Prowse, Anderson, they're proper players. They get the pass right first. They don't think about what's happening. They don't think about how many tip-tappy passes they're doing. They get the pass forward right. And that's so much difference. That allows us to have someone like Yates in the team. So you think about the frustrations we've had with Yates at times, and he's not moving it quickly enough and he's not doing this. Might be because of who he's had at the side of him not doing the same. But all of a sudden, you've got Yates going around doing that stuff. You've got Ward-Prowse sat in there just behind him. He was behind him every step of the way. It was almost like it was like, I'm sending you out to sort that out. And I'm here, whichever side it was, I'm sending you out to sort that. And then I'm going to pick up the scraps. And like Steve said, even on his backside at times, he was sweeping balls across, he was playing them to the fullback when they needed to be at the fullback. He was playing them to the wingers. He was playing them to the forward players. But how many forward passes did we see yesterday? In what was let's make no bones about it. To some degree, it was a park the bus performance. That's what we did.
It wasn't a part of the bus, no.
Well, it was to some degree the first half.
The first half it was, but then
but accept
that's the game plan, though.
Do you know what, Dore? You get points in the Premier League. How you get them, it doesn't matter. I've been frustrated with Forest performances over the last couple of years because at times we've been absolutely rubbish. But where you get a point, however you get it, at places like this, you take it and you move on. And you build. What we saw yesterday, especially with Anderson and Dominguez, was a horse for a course. A player playing to a game situation. What we'd like to see from Nuno now is back at the City ground, perhaps take them out, put in the guys we know that can do the business going forward. And when all that clicks, with Ward-Prowse and with Yates and whoever plays in the middle, brilliant, absolutely fantastic. With the fullbacks bombing on a little bit more, brilliant. But it just shows, he was brave enough to make them bold decisions. One point I want to make, it's not quite on what we were saying, but again, we all love, and Steve especially loves Nico, we all love Toff, but we've been crying out to get better players in the team. If players are coming in, they need to be better than what we've already got. Yeah. I was a big critic of Murillo. I'm with Steve, and I was even more vocal. Yeah. I thought in the few times I've seen him away at Aston Villa, he was poor. And he was absolutely fantastic. He's better than what we've got. And that's what we've had to do. And now you look at the bench. If that was the starting lineup yesterday, we know it's not going to be the starting lineup every week at home. With Hudson-Odoi, because he's one of our better players. I'm totally with you, Dore. I think England's not too far away because he's getting back to the player that everyone thought he was about 3 or 4 years ago. But if he's on the pitch, if Alanga's on the pitch and you've got Murillo and Ina, and you've got someone like Nico Williams coming on for 20 minutes who never stops. Do you know, the guy who's got like a limitless battery coming on at fullback to try and tighten things up. What a situation to be in. And I just think all around the pitch now, do you know, and that midfield has been a massive concern. Like Steve says, I wanted to talk about it because it's been massive. I'm not going to dwell on the negatives. I keep getting battered for what I've said about certain players and certain people.
He's coming soon, Des. I'll make Glenn answer it.
Just let yesterday's performance do the talking. That's all I thought with it. I don't need to say anything. Just watch the game yesterday.
Don't worry, Glenn will save your life. Glenn will save your life. Don't worry about it.
Just watch what the midfield did yesterday, and I don't need to tell anyone. Everybody can see it for themselves. Do you know, Ward-Prowse was absolutely outstanding, and it's levels. That is the point. It is simply down to levels. He is a level above anything. Do you know, whether it's Yates, Sangare, Danilo, Anderson to some degree, although I love that guy, I think he's brilliant. Ward-Prowse is a level above. You know, the guy's got England caps. You know, in a crap team he's played for as Southampton. You know, he's still got England caps. And then, what was we all expecting from the first corner? We was expecting it to hit the first man, even though it was Ward-Prowse, because we thought he's going to be hit with a Forest curse. And that's why he's there as well, to make a difference in that sense. So the guy is an incredible footballer. Any footballer, any purist would think we'll have him in the team every day of the week. Just like Anderson, you know, just like Hudson-Odoi at the minute, that they're pure footballers, and that's all I've really got to say on that, because I don't need to explain why he was so much better than the person that wasn't there.
I love Des. He's not going to answer him at all. I know. Let me ask Glenn about him, because, as you know, if people don't know, Des's mate Sangare is out for 3 months. Ryan Yates, let me tell you, people, everyone always criticizes him every single time. Now Sangare's out. Ryan Yates, again, yes, he did one mistake. Let's put our hands up, he did. But again, it's his shirt to lose now. It's his shirt to lose. Glenn, let's talk about Yatesy, man. Sangare's out. And I'm not trying to be negative. It's for me now, Yates, for me, it's to survive number 6. And he's getting better and better since, it was at Martin O'Neill, give him his debut. Talk about Yates, man. I can't. I love Yatesy, man.
Do you all remember David Batty?
Yeah.
He's the most David Batty we've got in our team. David Batty would represent England regularly in midfield, and he'd break up play and he'd win the ball and he'd lay it off, and he'd get criticised for not really doing very much beyond that, but he did that exceptionally well. And if that's all we need him to do, then he's going to be in. I don't know when the next manager will be. He'll be in the next manager's team, I hope, as well. Now, I know that there's other people who sit next to you and below you in these streams that criticise Yates and don't see why he's in the team week to week. Yesterday showed me why he is a mainstay of the team, why he's in the captain group, why he's thought of so highly by the rest of the players and the coaching staff. And actually, Paul Merson and others who was talking so wonderfully about how well Forest had played on Sky yesterday were saying that Forest have got some really good players. You know, when we came up, we threw everything at the wall and got 30 whatever players in at the same time. But Yates has stuck there and has been a mainstay in that midfield for 5 or 6 seasons now, and is now a goal-scoring midfielder in a Premier League team, a captain on the field, ahead of Morgan Gibbs-White, and played extraordinarily well yesterday, and is amongst those players that Paul Merson was saying, you know, we've got Ward-Prowse, we've got Murillo, and he went through all the tears. And the second player he mentioned was Yates. players appreciate what he does for our team. And yesterday he did exactly what we needed him to do, as I said, from McAllister. McAllister didn't know how to play against him. McAllister didn't know how to create the opportunities that he would ordinarily create in that position because of what Yates was doing. And like you were saying, Des, I won't swear, but he did exactly the right thing and just made it really tough for them in that midfield. And if that's all we need him to do as a 6, without Sangare or with Sangare, I couldn't agree more. He was a nightmare to play against. I mentioned in our group, how fortunate are we that we've got a Yatesy? If we were talking on this stream about Ryan Yates, who plays for insert Premier League team, the other 19, how much frustration we would have for that player that gets stuck in, that isn't very good, but gets in the team most weeks, not every week, and the impact he has and how he makes Forest a better team. Aren't we fortunate that he's in our team? Aren't we fortunate that he's in that form of his life, and knows exactly what his capabilities are. He knows exactly what he can do well, and he does that consistently. And that's, again, what we were talking about earlier on. The best players are consistent. He's increasing his consistency, and he's working on the areas beyond what we would hope. I think that the performance against Bournemouth for him, that he picked the ball up, and when he had an opportunity to take it forward, he took it forward. He's still not as quick as he perhaps needs to be in that sort of position, but he does everything that we need him to in that. You know, he gives fouls away. He's kicked up in the air. He gives bookings away when he needs to. I don't know if he's ever been sent off for us. I don't remember.
Yeah,
but he does exactly what he needs to do. Right. He does exactly what he needs for us to do.
I think he has one. I think.
Right. Okay. But for the number of bookings that he gets in a season, the number of fouls he draws from opponents, he's a level-headed. Apart from when he's speaking to, is it New Zealand TV? And he drops the F-bomb. But beyond that, what a level-headed player, right? What a level-headed player. And he's exactly what we need in certain situations. Now, he's not going to play every week. And the great thing about our midfield is we've got massive strength in depth. Well, he'll feature. Okay, I'll take that back. He's not going to start every week. He's got a greater chance of starting now if Sangare is out for a certain number of time, like 2 or 3 months. But do
you know what's happened though with Yates? His game's matured as well, because he's not throwing himself around like he was. He was throwing himself around. He was being a bit melodramatic. You know, he was trying to win free kicks, doing that thing where he bundles himself over, and the Premier League referees have got used to it. And now he's not thinking about that stuff. He's thinking more about his game, and he's maturing as a midfield Premier League player. And it's such a refreshing thing to see, because it frustrated the life of me, chasing refs, waving yellow cards, you know, tapping his wrist about time. Forget that. You know, get on with your game, and he seems to be so much better for it.
Yeah. I was saying, I mean, I was supposed to speak to Kevin Campbell about this, and he loved Yates, and I was saying if he was still here, he would have loved this result as well. And he would be on the phone to me and there celebrating and loving that. He would have loved this because it represents Everton connection as well. He would have loved it, but it's good. It's just I'm so buzzing. I can't believe we beat Liverpool. Like people in the stream, how are you feeling? It's just mad. We beat Liverpool away. It's crazy. Can
I just, sorry Ben, can I just say a thing about Yates as well? Is that for me, I remember watching a podcast, and Roy Keane gave Ryan Yates a compliment, because obviously Roy Keane was under Martin O'Neill, wasn't he, with us?
Yes.
And for Roy Keane, one of the greatest midfielders to play in the Premier League, to give Yates that compliment, and Yates was still raw back then, because he said this a few years ago. Then for Keane to see something in him, I mean, we to question. I know we can all have criticisms, and I even got my criticisms of Yates. I feel he can score more goals. The positions he gets into, and if he was more clinical, he could easily get 5 to 8 goals a season. But saying that, like Glenn touched on, I'd rather have Yates in my team than playing against him, because he'd be one of them players you'd rather in your team than against him, because he'd be a nuisance to play against.
But Roy Keane's point, Steve, was concentrate on what you're good at, not what you're not very good at. So he was talking about Ryan doing the good things, and some of that stuff I just mentioned, that melodramatic stuff. Get rid of it, forget it. You know, and once he starts concentrating on what he does, he's a whole different player again. He doesn't take 2, 3, 4 passes. He passes it away to the winger. You know, and that's all you want from him. That's all you want.
People, please do hit like button if you can. Subscribe to you. And I'll put on the top of the comments. Des is doing coast to coast. So Des will talk about it before we do. Des, you are not getting away with it because you are going to talk about it. So people, like I said, if you please help Des, it's coast to coast soon. So please support him. And just click on the link, and it could be £1, 150p, whatever. Please support Des. Before we do go, let's talk about Nuno. Because, like I said, we spoke about him. Let me get Glenn's thoughts about Nuno. Like I said, I put my hands up to him. I thought he's just one of the managers like he was at Spurs. I thought he used all his best times at Wolves, but he got it. And I'm not going to say he was man of the match because he's my man of the match. I'm going to say it right now. He was my man of the match. But if people in the chat feel something different, please do get in the words now. What's your feeling about Nuno now, Glenn? Because he's changed my mind completely after yesterday's tactics, big time. How you feeling now?
Oh, my opinion of Nuno hasn't changed. When I was last on here and you asked me a question about whether I thought some of the decisions and substitutions were made too late, I was backing him and saying that they were made perhaps that weren't necessarily foreseen. Had we had, and Dominguez, like you were saying, Steve, I don't think he was injured. I think it was a tactical decision at 50 minutes to give Callum a go on that left hand. Or he was on the right to start with when he moved over to the left hand side, just to offer us a little bit more because of how solid and how much we had the game on such a level keel. Yesterday, the decisions to like I said at the beginning, the decisions to make substitutions at the time we did, who we brought on and where they then played and who they replaced was absolutely spot on. Over the space of the day, looking and watching and listening to lots of other, Forest related media, it's clear that Nuno has got a real grip of how our team are going to play. Behind the scenes, he's super vigilant in terms of what we are doing preparation wise, and does absolutely everything to put the team on the pitch and get prepared the rest to the absolute best. And he's fanatical about what we are doing in the training base and what they're doing to get the team ready. The look on his face is the thing that I will remember as much about the fan reaction to the goal and your fantastic commentary of the goal. Go and be a hero, go and be a hero, Dore. The look on his face, vamos, right, was so fantastic. Everything was clicking, and that final piece in the jigsaw beyond the, the rest of the 18 minutes of the game and the 5 minutes of added time was that we turned the screw and we brought on players who were going to change the game, finishers, whatever he calls them, change makers, whatever he calls them, and he brought them on at the right time and made a massive impact. Elanga, what a ball that was! Gave Callum exactly the right position to play that shot. Callum, Connor Bradley couldn't get over to cover. Morgan's decoy run across that kept him on side, that pulled a player over, that meant they weren't then 2v1 with Callum. It was still 1v1, made a big difference there. I think the timing of the substitutions, the way they're playing, the way they set themselves up. Okay, they've had a lot of time over the international break to get it right. And we've had as many players, I think it's 12 or 14 players away on international duty. But Callum's had so much time to work 1v1. The analysis team and everybody else under Nuno has done a phenomenal job. And Nuno, masterclass. There'll be a masterclass on YouTube with Nuno, just like there was Chris Hughton for Brighton against Man United. There'll be that one, and how he put us together. Nuno, I am still 100% behind. I was a Cooper man, as you know, but Nuno's doing a great job. I've never doubted the way he's put teams out. Some of the decisions he makes, perhaps a little bit based on injuries that are unforeseen, and they then change the decision making in terms of when we make those and whether we are able to, how can I say this politely, trust new players coming in. Perhaps the Bournemouth game, had we known now what we know about certain players who were on the bench, we might have made some decisions earlier on. And who knows, we might have been second behind Man City on goal difference had we won all 4 games. Nuno's doing a great job. And for a team in our position, when so many were saying we're going to be, right down the bottom, who knows, we might still be in that bottom third. He's set us up so well. It took 7 games of last season for us to get 8 points. It's taken 4 this time. We've won 9 games in the last 2 Premier League seasons. We've won 2 already. We hardly won away in the last two games. We've won 2 already, 4 including the last 2 of last season. And Nuno is only going to, improve his confidence and his competence in being able to make these sorts of decisions based on the performance of yesterday. And it's really, really interesting to hear him talking about, particularly to Colin and other journalists, about how well he's put in all of this. None of it's him. It's all on the players. It's all on his staff, and it's all on the fans. And for that, I respect him massively.
Just after the game, me and Dave, we saw Colin Frey at the service station, and I said to him, he said 4 weeks or 5 weeks ago, Forest will beat Liverpool. 5 weeks, I think, I don't know if Des was there. Des, was you, I don't know if you was there, Des, at the William and Gunn. He did a guest chat, and
he said Manchester City.
I thought he said Liverpool, didn't he?
No, he said Manchester City.
Oh, lie! I should lie. No, he said someone said
He was asked what is the highest ranked team that Forest will beat this season, as a random question, and he said Manchester City. So hopefully he's right, because if we beat them as well, what a season!
So I said to him, I said, you got it spot on. You look puzzled when I said it. Did you get it spot on? I went, I don't know. Did I? Yeah. So
no, he said Manchester City.
Okay. Malcolm, you got it wrong. You got it wrong. Right. Oh, bloody hell. It's been a great show, people. Please do hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. Is there any point doing man of matches or ratings? Is there any point? Because I think people in the chat, I'll get in the chat, who was your man of match and what's your rating out of 10? Who wants to start? Steve, you want to start?
You've already given us a glimpse of who it might be. I agree as well.
Yeah,
I agree.
It's Murillo for me.
Murillo.
It's got to be one of the best left back performances against Salah I've seen for a long while. Because I've seen Salah ruin some of the best left backs in the world, and I know this is quite putting out there, but it's got to be one of the best performances. I have seen a few comments online saying it's got to be one of the one-on-one performances against Salah, to not even give him a kick, like to track back and outfought him and just not let him cut inside, and just the work rate. Moreno got back into position. Okay, there's a few times in the second half he could have played a better ball going forward, but come on, that's just nitpicking. He was outstanding, and goes back to what I said earlier. I'll take back what I said about him. Obviously, if he can follow up now with more consistent, performances, because he was a good 9 out of 10. And for the team, I'd have to give 9.5.
9.5? Why not 0.5?
Because of maybe the sales drop and the time where Yates just switched off and let Diaz nick it off him at the post. And then 2 instances where my heart was in my mouth. They were only 2. That's it.
Steve, I was right. I had the best view. I couldn't believe it when I got in the crowd. The best view behind the goal. Couldn't believe it. And
for me, if that had gone in from Sells. I think when 1-0 up through that, I think our heads would have dropped, and I think they would have gone on to win 2 or 3. Because to concede a goal like that would have been just devastated after the work we put up to that point. But I just knew the luck was on our side. Just that happening. And it's in the post as well. I just thought something's happening here. So it could be a 9.5.
Steve, don't worry about it. We just want to give Liverpool a bit of a high hope, but still, I don't know, right? Because I don't know if people saw on the TV or at the ground when he threw the ball out, he did a smirk. Did anyone notice? He smirked when he threw the ball out, and basically, so he smirked.
Got away with it.
Yeah, he got away with it. So shout out to Sells for that.
And Ben, do you know one player didn't cause us any trouble yesterday? Yeah, yesterday is Jota, who usually scores against us.
I know. I'll say to everyone around me. You know what? When he got off, everyone around us was like, "Thank God he's gone off," because he's one of the little snakes. He just comes out of nowhere. Yeah. I was so happy. Everyone was like, "Thank God he's gone off. Thank God he's gone off," because he is a good player. But our Jota is better. Des or Glenn, do you want to pay the rating? Who's your best player? Go on, Des. Who's your
the rating for me? And I'm just asked, 9, because 9's very, very good, but it's not dominating a football match. If we dominated them and won 3-0, I'd give us a 10, and that's just because we're winners at the end of the day. The man of the match for me on the pitch, I've said what I said about Nuno, and I thought a lot of that was all of it was down to Nuno. The man of the match was Murillo, and this is where I'm happy to eat humble pie. I didn't think much of him, especially defensively. And yesterday, it was defensively where he come into his own. And it just as Steve was talking there, someone popped into my mind about, don't want to bore you, but I was a left back when I used to play football. And for the running I do now, I couldn't run. I was slow, I was crap, compared to the good players. But what this old-fashioned PE coach used to say to me was, your positioning is 100%. And that's what Murillo was yesterday. His positioning against Salah was 100%. He was in the right place at the right time. He always had a yard on him. He's not as quick as him. Not many people are, but he always had a yard on him. He got that little bit of support from Anderson in front of him and Yates, who was coming across tracking and those kind of things. But I thought he was exceptional yesterday. And for me, he was the man of the match of a really good bunch. It was hard at times, when you look at what other players did. But I thought he was absolutely excellent, and hopefully it bodes well going forward, because I don't want to go back to that sort of opinion of he's not what we thought he'd be, because he does look a cut above what we've already had in that position.
Des, before I get Glenn, what do you think about Sangare out for 3 months?
What do you want me to say, Dore?
I just want what's your opinion on it? Everyone keeps asking. Someone in the chat. Des, right. Let's make it clear. Des hasn't got agenda on Sangare. Just before I told everyone, because people think that he has.
But you just threw me under the bus.
Just saying, Des.
No.
I'm just responding to the chat. I'm just responding to the chat. What did Des? Because
you want guys. You want a fully fit squad all the time and guys competing. The one thing I've got, I want Sangare to be the best player in the world for what we paid for him. I really want that. I really want him to excel and do his best. What I'd seen in the first 3 games and what I saw at Anfield yesterday, from James Ward-Prowse, it's what I say about levels. This is what football is about. Unfortunately, I spoke there about when I was a left back or a centre back, I got dropped. I got left out because I wasn't the best we got, and that's how it works. Doesn't matter. Someone said to me last week about Sangare, if he cost 500 grand, everybody will be on his case. Everybody, because he won't be living up to it. But because he cost 35 million quid, we're supposed to believe he's a good player. You know, I don't buy this. I was going to swear again then. Sorry, Glenn. I don't buy this nonsense about.
Don't worry, Des.
I don't
It's
buy
the
this
only thing
nonsense.
is I can't do it here because they might slip out at work and I might get fined.
Absolutely. But he's won people football manager with PSV. So what? I don't give a crap. You know, he's not that player. He's got these ratings because he's been playing in the Dutch league. He's not that player. We've seen it at Forest. Look, I don't want anyone to be injured. I want him to be pushing for a place. I want him to be pushing Yates, Wolperhouse, you know, and if he's coming on and he's doing a job, fantastic. I thought he looked good in pre-season, but then we had to weigh up pre-season as well, didn't we, in the opposition? So it's one of those, isn't it? We all have our favourites. We all have those ones we don't consider to be first team. So does Nuno. Unfortunately, for everybody looking in, Nuno doesn't have his favourites either. You know, we all love Nico, but he's obviously not in Nuno's first 11 because he dropped him yesterday. It's as simple as that. That's how football works. Some players play, some players don't, you know, and when they get the chance, they have to take it. Unfortunately for Sangare, you know, he's got an injury, whatever it may be, you know, and we'll see how it goes from there. But it's one of those, you know, you can only go on what we've got. That midfield was brilliant. I can't see much changing for Brian. Can anybody else?
No.
You know, why would he change too much from what happened yesterday? You know, you might play Hudson Odoi and Elanga because it's not Liverpool and it's not those overlapping fullbacks. But other than that, you ain't going to swap that middle, and that was my point. Just on that, you asked me about Sangare, and I've been moaning about a number 6 and someone doing it properly, and you touched on Yates being a number 6. No, neither of them was a number 6 yesterday. They both played number 8.
Yeah.
They both played number 8 against Liverpool. What a bizarre thing to say all of a sudden. Do you know, these two guys played next to each other in tandem, doing each other's job just like they used to. I mentioned on my own little report on Twitter, almost like a conventional old-fashioned 4-4-2. You know, that's how far he's played yesterday. So it works, doesn't it? And all this, I've been craving for it, but we don't always know the solution until it's kind of thrust upon us and we see a different way of playing. And that's exactly what happened yesterday. We saw a different Nuno, different Forest, you know, different players in different positions or different sort of tactics, and they thrived upon it. And sometimes you stumble across it and you take it forward and work with it. So let's not dwell on about Sangare being injured or
Don't
Nico
clip
not
Des on
playing.
Twitter. Don't clip Des on Twitter. That's what I'm saying. Don't clip him.
Can
Whoever clipped Des, well done. He got no people. It was 50-50. That's what it was. But that's how it is. People's got opinion, and Des has opinion, and that's it. Glenn has opinion.
I'm not going to go on all night, but football is about opinions at the end of the day. People can say what they want to me about my opinion. You know, I watch a lot of football. So I will comment on it because I actually like the football side of it. You know, the modern thing, and we see it from other YouTube channels, they like to talk about the colours of the shirts and the seats in the stand and things like that. That's nonsense to me. I like to watch football and talk about football. And when you watch it deeply and see it, you see some of these things. And I mentioned earlier, winning at Liverpool for the first time in 36 years, been watching Forest for 36 years. And that's when you realise that, you know, what happens on the pitch is what really matters. Nothing else
100%.
matters in the slightest bit.
Glenn, have you did a rating before we do go?
I'm going to go with 9 as well, and I'm going to go with Alex Moreno as well. And I'm going to say for all of his potential as going forward and what he offers going forward, he was probably his best defensive performance yesterday. He'll be absolutely thrilled with it, no doubt, and wanting to play more and more and more. And if he does that against Mo Salah, who's he going to do against next week? To talk about Sangare, we've all been sports people. We all get injured, and it must be really frustrating for him. after having so many injuries last season, starting to get a little bit of run of form and playing better, to have another injury. I hope he comes back as a better player. But in the meantime, Des, you're absolutely right. We will be fine without him. We will put players on that will do equally as a good job, if not more. Makes it harder for him to get back in. But yeah, I wish him well, and it can't be good for him in terms of as a player coming over to the UK, wanting to play in the Premier League, or else he'd still be at PSV playing in Champions League, getting injured so often. I hope he gets a run of form soon. You know, I was one of the 25% that was with him at the end of last season. There was more and more saying, waste of money, sell him, and worse. As he got better and better at the start of the first game or two, we're starting to change a few people's opinions, and people were 50-50 about him. I'm definitely one of that hopes he plays well for us because of, you know, he's a Red. But yeah, it can't be good for him as a player whose body's breaking down quite as often as it is. And let's not forget, he's got a hamstring injury that puts him out for 8 weeks, 9 weeks. There's another potential starting midfielder who's got a dislocated ankle that's out for the same amount of time. So let's hope that both of them, when they get fit, they come back in and start offering a little bit more in midfield as an option for us going forward. But you're right, Des. The way that Yates and James Ward-Prowse played yesterday, I think that's how we'll set up against Brighton. And let's hope we get a bit of a better result against them than we did on the 10th of March this year, when we gave a goal away and gave the game away. Let's hope we have a bit more out of it. No, I'm not going to talk about my prediction for Brighton, but I hope we get more out of that game.
Was it Sells made a mistake as well?
Yeah, from a corner.
Sells and on Bamadeli at the right post, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Just hope he didn't. Maybe before we go, I'll say, 9. I'll give it a 9. My man of March.
Come on, get the Murillo train.
Alex Murillo, yeah. I criticised him because I was pissed off when he didn't. Sorry for my language. I was upset when he didn't come, but for me, Mo Salah, what did he do? What did he do? I watched lots of YouTube, as everyone knows. I saw the Liverpool content creators saying this and that and the other. I'm like him. Why don't you just praise our left back? Why don't you just praise?
Do you know what, though? Right, this is why Murillo was man of the match, because Mo Salah was their biggest threat in that game. He was still their biggest threat. He was still the player who was most likely. He was still buzzing about. And this is why Murillo was actually man of the match, because he restricted him. At the end of the day, you're not going to stop Mo Salah doing everything on a football pitch that he can do. But the reason Murillo was man of the match is because everybody else, every Liverpool fan, is frustrated with him. Because he was still, amongst all their poor play, he was still their best player, in my mind.
Yeah, 100%. And like I said,
going forward for them, didn't he?
And like I said, he was fantastic for me. But yeah, for me, Alex Murillo was my man of match. Boys, it's been a great show. Fantastic. Thank you, everyone, that took the time to watch. 4 smiley faces. Again, like I said, it's the best £50 I've spent ever in a football match. Wembley with it as well. But yeah, it's been a great show. Before we do go, I know I've just mentioned about Des doing coast to coast. Des, where's your coast to coast, and how much have you raised so far?
It's 3 weeks away yesterday, which is absolutely petrifying. Probably shouldn't have drank so much after beating Liverpool for the first time in 55 years. You know, I've been really good on that sense. Even though I've had a couple, I've not had as many as this weekend. But I did get up this morning and do a 10-mile run. It was hard. It was really, really hard after the car cans, the Stella on the way back from Liverpool. So I'm still putting it in. You know, it's all for footprints. You know, most guys have probably heard it all before, but it's all for footprints. An amazing charity that helps kids here in Nottingham. You know, lots of Forest fans support this charity as well. Most people know Lisa Fox, Pat Lally, Max, and all those people who get behind this charity. So if you can get behind what I'm doing 192 miles.
Bloody hell. I couldn't do that.
Starting on the day we play Chelsea, bizarrely enough, you know, which is probably going to hurt me more than the 26 miles I've got to do on that day. You know,
man.
so 26 miles a day for 7 days, and then I'm going on holiday. But raised £5,000, just a little bit under what it cost to support a family for a year. It cost. Apparently, footprints tell me it costs £5,066 to support a charity for a year, and I've raised about £5,000. So really pleased with that effort. You know, some of the guys around me, Kay and Dawn, who you mentioned earlier, and Ian, and people like that, really getting on board, who've done little things to get behind my fundraiser. So yeah, we're at about £5,000. You know, anything else we can raise is an absolute bonus. If we can get over that 5,066, that'd be amazing. And thank you to everyone who's supported so far.
Like
I'll be back out. I'll be back out without the drink tomorrow.
Basically, running from my house to Nottingham. So that's fair play.
Oh, fair play.
Is that the case?
Yeah. So you've been to my house, Des. You've been to my house, and you know how far that is. So
I have. I've drove straight from Nottingham to your house.
That's so far.
Like I said, people, at the top of the link, if you can support Des, like I said, I know he's been training very, very hard, and bloody hell, he is.
I did the Great North one last week. I did 2 halves in 2 days, 2 half marathons. Yeah. And I was a little bit ill and it killed me, but I thought I've got to do it. You know, I've got to do it.
Everyone's proud of you, Des. And like I said, Coast to Coast run, 3 weeks' time. If you can, please donate to him. And like I said, all the donations go to Footprints. And shout out to Lisa Fox. And I saw Lisa Fox and Pat Lally as well yesterday. But yeah, Des, I hope you do well on that. But yeah, it's been a great show. Forest beat Liverpool. I've got the biggest smirk on my face. I did say I was going to get drunk. I'm not drunk yet. But yeah, it's been a great show. And like I said, Forest fans, embrace. We've won Liverpool at Anfield. We've witnessed it. We've seen it. Everyone loves it. If you've seen the Liverpool fans, give them grief like I have all day. I've loved it, every single minute of it. And Guy, if you're watching, I won't stop. I'm not going to stop. Because I mean, he blocked me. He blocked me. Like he literally blocked me. My bro blocked me.
Family.
He blocked me. God, he's going to annoy. Yeah, it's been a great show, people. Thank everyone. If you are rewatching this, please do get in the comment section. I'm doing a part 2 tomorrow with Jimmy Martin and Murillo, so to talk about the game at 8 o'clock. Because I'm not working, so it's an early time. So watch out for that. It's been a great show. Forest won. Please hit the like button. We won. It's been great. And watch out for the vlog. Watch out for the vlog. I love it. I'm missing it again. Hey, Desi, you're going to copyright me, you muppet.
Copyright strike.
On the forest. See you soon.